a Montessori parent. In today's video, I'm going to share with you my favorite quotes by Dr. Montessori. I've chosen 10 of them today to share with you, and I thought I'll talk to you about how each of these quotes have either impacted me or my learning, or how they have touched my life. And you can see if that is true for yourself too. So the first quote, I'm going to be reading these quotes, so I may be looking down occasionally when I'm reading them. So the first quote is, "It is not true, says Dr. Montessori, that I invented what is called the Montessori method. I have studied the child, I have taken what the child has given me and expressed it, and that is what is called the Montessori method." I think I really love this quote because it's so true. When you actually follow the Montessori philosophy and learn about the method, you realize that it's not really something that she invented, but she's observed the children so much that every word written in all her books and her teachings is so true. When she talks about the child's concentration, or how it's not important to give them the prize and punishment while they learn through the process of life, it's all so real. And as a teacher and as a parent, I have seen children benefit and react or respond in ways that she has been talking about in her books. So I really think it benefited me in a way that I stopped looking at the Montessori method as a technique or kind of steps that you follow to achieve something. On the other hand, it really helped me introspect, reflect, understand really what is this child and me learning together through this journey of life. And same kind of observation that Dr. Montessori did was kind of initiated in me by just reading this quote. And even if my child was throwing a tantrum in the house, it was like observing why this tantrum is happening, or what happened the previous day, that day, or what's happening in the child's life. Just observing the child helped me a lot in understanding myself and my behavior as well as my child's behavior. And sometimes it was so easy to get solutions just by this observation. The next quote I'm going to read to you is from The Absorbent Mind, a book by Dr. Montessori. "The teacher's task is not to talk, but to prepare and arrange a series of motives for cultural activity in a special environment made for the child." So I think this is so true, and also as an adult with children, I've realized that talking doesn't make anything happen. So this quote taught me to actually create the environment that kind of propagates this kind of thing that I'm wanting. For example, suppose we want children to clean their room. So I've seen for myself, it's true with my own children, when we had small brooms, small mops in the environment, and that is the preparing of it, arranging it in a way that the child can go pick it up whenever the child wants, and maybe keeping a special day like Sunday is the cleaning day, and put music and you clean the house while they clean their own room. So this, I think, helped me in that aspect, for me to have children take up responsibility of their own things. Instead of telling them, do this, I thought that when I do it and when I arrange in a way that they are also able to do it, they get into the task so much more easier and so much more willingly, rather than feeling like they've been told to do something. Creating the atmosphere which will inspire the child to do something. And I think that's been very, very helpful as a parent and as a teacher for me. This quote is from The Discovery of the Child. "At some given moment, it happens that the child becomes deeply interested in a piece of work. We see it in expression on his face, his intense concentration, the devotion to the exercise." I'm sure you have, as parents, have seen this happen so many times. I can give you an example, and it's so true that the child gets into this activity. And now that I do a lot of study on being in the present moment, or do things in flow, I feel that the Montessori philosophy is enabling this so much. Children in the class, when they walk into the environment, they're just strolling around and suddenly they pick up this activity which they want to do. Activities like transferring beans from one bowl to another. So the child carefully is transferring the beans, and that intense the intense concentration on the face, making sure those little tiny fingers are grasping all the beans and making sure they don't fall down and they come back into the next bowl. And this goes on for the next 10-20 minutes, depending on how long the child really takes. And if he's not disturbed by the adults in the environment, you will see that the child and the activity have actually become one. And I think this quote really encompasses that for me. Like, it really shows me how removing myself as an obstacle in my child's being as a parent or as a teacher, removing myself as an obstacle from their learning and just providing those opportunities, and then standing back and watching how really is the child learning through this, or how much is he interested in it. It gives us a wealth of knowledge about the child, but also this flow moment, I think I've seen it happen, and it's so beautiful that her whole teaching is so spiritual for me that I feel it's kind of humbling to sit and just watch how this creation is so beautiful and learning on their own without us really doing anything other than just providing the motives. The next quote I have is from The Absorbent Mind. Praise, help, or even a look may be enough to interrupt him or destroy the activity. The great principle which brings success to the teacher is this: as soon as concentration has begun, act as if the child does not exist. I just love this quote, and I can't tell you how much this quote has helped me both as a teacher and as a parent. Like, praise, I think we should know when, how, where, why before we praise or help the child, or even look, she says. That's true, because I've seen in the beginning years of my teaching where when I see this child doing it, out of the best of my intentions, I might have just said, wow, that's beautiful, or just given them kind of laid my hand on their back, and that has interrupted the whole process. I have seen children, after that moment has happened, put away the work. Having observed this, and this quote, being in my life, has shown me, stop, wait, just watch, allow them to get into that flow that I just spoke about, and hold on to your praise, because you will see that for the child, after the activity is over, your praise is not as important as the satisfaction that they feel. And this satisfaction is going to be that driving force for self-discipline, self-motivation, and a wealth of other things. So I think what this quote says, like especially the last one, as soon as concentration has begun, act as if the child does not exist. That's beautiful, because to say that the child has got into the flow now, just allow, just hold on to those reins of wanting to say, good job, you did a good job, give me a high five. And wait for that child to actually start feeling that satisfaction from whatever they're doing. The next quote I have is again from The Absorbent Mind. To let the child do as he likes when he has not yet developed any power of control is to betray the idea of freedom. Real freedom, instead, is a consequence of development. It is the development of the latent guides aided by education. So this is a beautiful quote. When you're introduced to the Montessori philosophy, a lot of you have heard this, that Montessori gives the freedom. And I think this is a quote which is extremely important for all parents to get in touch. Really, what is this freedom? Because I think as parents we get so confused, because a child, just letting them do whatever they want, how is that helping the child is what most parents wonder. How is that helping the child? But what I want you to understand, this quote is telling you exactly what the Montessori philosophy believes in that freedom. And let me read that. the part where real freedom instead is a consequence of development means what? You're providing the environment which is going to make this development of the latent guides happen. And when you see that this is developed, it's so easy for you to give the freedom in that particular area. So let me read this once again, because I think this is a very important quote. To let the child do as he likes when he has not yet developed any powers of control is to betray the idea of freedom, which means if we don't give them the skills needed and then say, okay, you're on your own, you're betraying the idea of freedom. But according to Montessori, the real freedom is a consequence of development. And how is this development happening? By education. So our education, that is the Montessori method of education, is developing these latent guides. When you don't give the freedom at the right time, it turns into control. And that's when self-discipline is not happening. The child is just following instructions. There's no thinking happening. So I think this is an extremely important quote. The next quote is from the Montessori method. A room in which all children move about usefully, intelligently, and voluntarily without committing any rough or rude act would seem to me a classroom very well disciplined indeed. That's such a beautiful summary of what the Montessori classroom is. A lot of you as parents have gone and observed Montessori classrooms, and what do you see in this? Like little bodies just walking around so busily, like they really have a task to complete, which is true. It's not like they do really have a task to complete. And this is the usefulness, the intelligence, and the voluntary. Nobody is asking them to do it. I think that is what really summarizes the Montessori classroom for you. I think making your homes similar, arranging it in a way that your child can move about usefully, intelligently, and voluntarily without committing any rough or rude act. Why? Because they are not interested in tantrums. They have other busy work to do. So they really don't have time for tantrums. So how can I make this happen is what the Montessori method is. How can I create this environment? You can't make anything happen inside the child. All you can do is create that environment which has motives. And a very simple example in my previous quote, which I said about cleaning the room, providing the broom, the mop, and doing it as an activity together. These are some ways, but basically having your children in an environment where they can move about usefully, intelligently, and voluntarily. My next quote is from a book called Education and Peace. It says, an education capable of saving humanity is no small undertaking. It involves the spiritual development of man, the enhancement of his value as an individual, and the preparation of young people to understand the times in which they live. This, for me, talks about today's education, what we as teachers, parents, adults in an environment which has children, what is our role? It's really a big undertaking that we have taken on to have a spiritual journey happening in the child. So I think it's most important to make sure that the knowledge that we are passing on to our children is relevant to their current lives. So that's why it is so child oriented, or we say that the child has to do it on his own. As much as we parents would have loved to do some things for our children, we can't. They have to learn it by doing it on their own. And I think an education which takes this as seriously, that it's no small undertaking, it's the spiritual life of the child. And so we are going to give it all that we can and enhance the child's value, not just in academic skills, but in values, in responsibility, in the way the child looks at himself or herself, and therefore carries on his or her life in that way. I think this quote really is extremely important to keep reminding ourselves that it's not only about the achievements in the material or the physical realm, but there is so much other realms that the child has to kind of unfold, and rise, and does what he's meant to do over here. So that quote really is very touches my heart because of that one reason. The next quote is again from Education and Peace. The only true freedom for an individual is to have the opportunity to act independently. There is no such thing as an individual until a person can act by himself. So this is about responsibility, and again a kind of freedom that's given. And what this quote tells me is that it's not a true freedom if you're not allowing the child to act by himself. And I'm yet to learn this principle. I don't think I've got it to the nail yet, because now that my children are growing older, I find it difficult for me to be giving that freedom where I need to back out. So I'm still learning that part of it, where I think allowing them to act by themselves changes as their planes of development change. And right now I'm in a plane with my children where I really am not needed to be saying anything, but I think the role of the parent is not ready to go back. It's still staying there strong and trying to do that. So I think this quote is good to know that what is the true freedom? We talk about true freedom in the sense of child wearing his own clothes, eating his own food. So those are all the preliminary aspects, but then you see we are also raising children to think on their own. So they start having opinions and thoughts which are different, like say a 13-year-old will come to you with thoughts which are different. So then where's the freedom? Am I able to give that, or am I retracting it now? And now that I have a 25-year-old and a 21-year-old, that has changed platforms. And again, where am I retracting myself, or where am I withholding this act by himself, is something that I think we need to keep revisiting. I think it's important to ponder on the first thought about freedom that I said, like what is freedom? The developmental achievements lead to the child's freedom. And next is here, like where is he acting by himself, or am I pretending to allow them to be free but actually holding the reins? So really, where is it that I'm letting go? The last quote I have is from the Theosophist, and it says, "This is the hope we have, a hope in a new humanity that will come from this new education, an education that is collaboration of man and the universe." This is so beautiful, because a lot of our teachings tell us that we are really not doing anything, but the child is doing it on his own, and we are just kind of supporting. But look at this, it's such a beautiful quote, that to hope that in the new humanity, this education is going to bring about a collaboration between man and the universe. What is this? Man and the universe. There is something we refer to in our Montessori environment to the child as a spiritual embryo. So what is this? The plan that the universe has for this man. We are just collaborating for that to happen and fulfill whatever the purpose of this child is. That's what I get from this quote. And I think reminding ourselves constantly that there is no boss in this whole parenting equation, because I think we are learning from them and they are learning from us, of bringing about a collaboration between man and the universe. That's something that's very, very important, because I think then we are not worried about the child is this old, he should be knowing this. We're always collaborating, always seeing, okay, where does this child's interest lie? How am I helping the universe, by raising this child, or by creating the environment for this child? Such a spiritual journey, and it's not only your child, but you are going to grow along with it. The whole parenting has been such a spiritual journey for me, and I think it will be for you too. And I really hope these quotes inspire you to read some of these books and learn some more quotes to keep you on the track. But that's it for today. And if you haven't pressed the subscribe button, this is the time to do so that you know when the new videos come up. And if you want to know more about Formative Age and the courses, please do visit our website www.formativeage.in. And until we meet again, goodbye.